Ung's doorbell camera that welcomed a face I never udud. The doorbell greeted him before I did. At 3:06 a.m., the camera sent me a polite push notification with a confetti edge. Welcome back, Milo, face matched, front door unlocked. The clip autoplayed when I thumbed it open, grainy moonlight, the yellow trapezoid of our hallway, a tall outline in a slate jacket leaning close to the lens like it trusted glass. Behind him, something quick. Her slipped past with the posture of someone who has already promised not to wake the mugs. The mechanical click of the latch sounded like an apology drilled into metal. I lay in bed watching the loop, the way you rub a bruise to prove to the room you can still feel. The camera did a small zoom on their smiles, a feature I'd never asked for and would have declined if the Century had been polite enough to offer me the choice. The app's caption at the bottom, cheerful as a concierge, read, "Entry guest, Milo, recognized with 94% confidence." We were an ordinary that felt curated because we meant it. Oksana slept with her palm splayed on my ribs like she was taking attendance of my breath. On Sundays, I ironed pillowcases because flat cotton feels like a promise heat can keep. Our balcony forgave being too narrow for two chairs by letting us take turns and calling it choreography. If rain came after midnight, we cracked the window and let the city wash its face while we washed each other's. She would hook her knee behind my thigh like a knot meant for boats. My mouth would find that nickel-bright patch beneath her collarbone, where breath confesses to wanting to be heat. We were good at small bravery. Drift practiced its vocabulary on us. Rosemary left the kitchen. Something mineral moved in, citrus poured over stone, a perfume with posture. Her phone learned a two-note chime at 12, Zara sucks, and 12:11 precise, as if someone had mounted a second doorbell for a smaller house inside ours. "London," she said when she caught me listening. "Their morning keeps trespassing on my midnight." She started showering in the dark. "Migraine," she told the mirror. I learned to shave by memory and called it loyalty because the word is cheaper than change. The app had built a Trusted Faces album because engineers are romantics when they think no one is watching. My mother smiled in one square, the courier who pretends to hate our stares in another. My own face occupied the corner with an unfortunate angle that said I always open the door like news is waiting outside. Between them sat a stranger, the device labeled as if we'd had coffee together. "Milo," added Zara ta, fufti ut. It even compiled a montage of his visits. The frame grabbed moments from the last 2 weeks and made a cheerful video with music I would have chosen in high school if I had wanted to die of embarrassment. Evidence is the frightened man's hobby. I started a folder on my laptop named Faces because I wanted the work to sound dry. Into it went the clip, the stills, the annotation where the app circled his jaw like it was teaching a class. In the hallway closet, tucked behind a winter scarf, I found the obedient half of a cufflink, mother of pearl in gunmetal, the size of a coin you'd give a furman when you're short on truth. I held it up to the bulb and watched my face bend wrong inside its milky eye. We met in a stairwell because elevators enjoy preaching patience. "Stairwells tell the truth," she said, shoes in one hand, grin rehearsed toward mischief. On the landing, she pressed her thumb to the thin place at my wrist and told me to keep still while she memorized me with her mouth. Later, in my bed, she slept with her palm on my ribs like gravity had asked for signatures. The next morning, I photographed the light on her shoulder. No filter, just air behaving, and believed the room had sworn to remember. At 7, the kettle argued with the tap in a language I used to call domestic. Oksana came in wearing my t-shirt and the careful quiet of a person who has practiced being innocent. She kissed my mouth with accurate affection, the kind that recruits your body while sparing your hope. "You were restless," she said, as if we were discussing weather. "Dream?" "Doorbell," I said. She smiled into the refrigerator. Our times. We ate eggs at the counter because plates sound decisive when they reach wood. Under the table, her foot found my shin and pressed lightly, our oldest code for stay. After, in bed, she crossed her knee behind my thigh and guided my hand beneath her shirt like a person switching on a lamp she trusts. My mouth found the coin of heat beneath her collarbone. She made the low vowel that dims a city. We moved with the fluency of people who have taught each other mercy. Halfway through, her eyes went elsewhere and returned with apology penciled on the edge. Pencil erases clean if you don't press. I didn't press. The doorbell app kept trying to help. New activity detected Milo face package. The notification chirped at noon, repackaging trespass as an exclamation one might gift wrap. When I opened the library, it offered me a timeline. Tough fufty fuss enrolled, thra zura sucks untra granted, thra utan kutchan light on, thra 27 budrum motion detected. No video available, it added, for privacy. Kind of it. I walked to the glass wedge by the river that sells weather and discretion. Hubbalun wore heat lamps on its terrace like jewelry. Time and polished choices in the lobby. The elevators did arithmetic for people who mistake altitude for absolution. At the bar, a jawline I recognized by how anonymous it was arranged a glass on a napkin like geometry could be persuaded to apologize. Slate jacket. The small head tilt of a man who expects rooms to answer. When the bartender asked what he wanted, he lifted two fingers, not quite touching the air, and received something clear that cost more than decency. I ordered the cheapest beer the bar rescented and tipped like apology. I watched him watch no one and everyone. I left with nothing he could recognize in my posture. Sunday wanted witnesses, courage likes even numbers. Her brother Tara's is precise and decently skeptical. My friend Yana moves heavy things and refuses to narrate them. I called it a menu test because parties are scaffolding. The apartment learned to smell like garlic telling the truth. At 7, Fufti Ta Uksana texted 15, which in our new arithmetic means 30. At 23, she arrived with indoor wind on her cheeks and kissed me with accurate affection in front of them, performing civilization like a sport. We ate. Laughter borrowed our mouths and used them well. After coffee, I mirrored the doorbell clip to the TV without ceremony. The screen, obedient trader, offered him a close-up and captioned his name like a lower third. Our camera has made a friend, I said, aiming for gentle, landing near honest. Yana placed her palm flat on the table, the signal for do not let the wood try to fly. Tara studied my face instead of the image, which is a discipline and a blessing. We should talk privately, Oksana said, the conference room clearing its throat in our kitchen. We will, I said, but I need witnesses that I didn't dream a greeting. They left. The room remembered how to be only a room. Oksana scrolled through the clips with two fingers as if she could zoom the night into decency. The face boxes tracked our ghosts across frames. She reached for the cufflink half and set it on the coffee table like punctuation. I told myself it was a hallway, she said finally, voice low. Somewhere I could stand without a tour guide. I liked the echo. She inhaled like a person docking a ship in bad weather. Is he married? I asked, bureaucracy for ghosts. Separating, she said. A son. 8. Do you love him? The word is small until it sits down and crosses its legs. She tilted her face toward the ceiling crack that looks like a river refusing to choose a mouth. I love who I am when I stop narrating, she said. With you I started describing myself from outside like I owed footnotes to every breath. He turned the placards around and said he believed the painting without the text. She looked at me in a way that did not insult the truth. I loved us like architecture, she said quietly. I wanted weather. "We're going to separate," I told her. "The we did the clean work a knife does when asked to be kind." She nodded, and the hinge between her collarbones relaxed with a relief I refused to rename cruelty because it had earned its own name. "Do you want me to go now?" she asked. "I want you to stop letting our door learn his face," I said. "Pick a door. I'll take the other." Leaving looks fast only to people on different floors. She took the hoodie, the charger that fits everything, and the scent that had colonized corners. She left the cufflink half, the doorbell camera still humming with confidence, and a house that had not been asked for consent. At the threshold, she lifted her hand toward my wrist, the old code, thumb to the thin skin, and changed her mind midair. The absence of contact left a mark anyway. "I was happy," she said, "and greedy, and afraid, and sorry." "You were alive," I said. "So am I." He wrote once, as scripts require, corporate letterhead arranged into contrition, respect, timing, a hope we could proceed as Juntman, a noun with no warranty left. I forwarded it to a lawyer whose office lives above a cobbler. The stairs smell like leather and old rain. She asked the only useful question: "Outcome or scene?" "Outcome," I said, surprising the organ in me that keeps a theater troupe on retainer. "Good," she said. "Bring boring, dates, doors, dollars, screenshots over speeches. One witness who loves you without auditioning, and don't send your heart by text. Judge's itch." I forwarded his email to Yana, who replied with the three-word liturgy that belongs laminated above a stove: block, breathe, boil. I boiled water until the window wrote a softer weather over the city's hard face. The bed learned my outline again. The two-note phantom chimed in my head at 12, 11 for a week, and then retired when I stopped saving it a chair. I opened the Doorbell app and did the bureaucratic sacraments. Settings, rut-ura faces, rut-ura edit. I removed every square but my mother, and the courier, leaving mine like a passport photograph nobody would frame. The app asked, "Would you like to improve recognition by sharing clips?" No. Desire didn't resign. It reorganized its shelves. Some nights my body remembers the exact pressure of her knee behind my thigh and the soft, unreasonable sound she made when my mouth found heat beneath her collarbone. Memory is accurate and unkind. I let it sing to the chorus, and then I make tea. The kettle's small scream is the only emergency I answer after midnight. I press my thumb to the thin place at my wrist where her old code used to land and listen to the sentence the body never misquotes: "Here, here, here." Once, because endings itch, I stood outside my own door at Zara Sucks AM and rang the bell. The camera woke with a blue halo and offered me my own face with 82% confidence, hesitant as a cashier eyeing a worn bill. "Welcome back," it said anyway, because machines want to be loved for trying. I let the bolt slide, listened to the small forgiveness of metal returning to ready, and went to the kitchen to watch water make steam out of itself. I learned the boring heroics. I set the door to manual, no auto unlock, no educate yourself mode. I scrubbed the mineral perfume out of the curtains until the fabric agreed to remember basil again. I bought a mechanical latch that clicks like the century owes me nothing. I taught the camera to announce visitors with a chime it doesn't enjoy and turned off every cheerful overlay. People who are allowed to enter can wear their names in their mouths. The lens can stop playing host. On a Wednesday, the decree arrived on paper thick enough to cosplay gravity. I folded it and slid it beneath the tray by the door where keys and small solutions live. I carried the cufflink half to a thrift store and dropped it into a porcelain dish already humming with orphans. It made a polite clink like punctuation finding its sentence. The woman behind the counter said to the air, "Some pairs sleep better apart," and I gave her the nod you owe strangers who bless you without auditioning. The last time I saw Oksana, the elevator performed its secular magic of coincidence. We arrived at the lobby on the same chime. She wore a coat the color of decisions and carried a paper bag of oranges like a rationed son. "Hey," she said, neighbor quiet. "Sleep." "Better," I said, and the word didn't ask for applause. She adjusted her scarf and didn't touch my wrist. I admired her restraint and then my own. The doors closed and returned each of us to our earned floors. Sometimes, out of mischief or mercy, I sit on the too narrow balcony and let one of the two chairs be empty without inventing a ghost for it. I open the window an inch and let the city wash its face. I salt water. I turn the lamp low. If the camera ever again tries to welcome a face I didn't teach it, I'll give it the rule I taught the apartment and the man living here. Not tonight. Not anymore. Announce me when I arrive. Forget others when they leave. And when morning finds a way through the small glass, the door knows my name without help. I cross the threshold and the house becomes itself again. No captions, no overlays, nothing to recognize but the air learning me back.